Hey everyone, it's been a long time since I've broadcasted an episode of the news. And not only have I taken a little bit of time for myself, I also graduated college, I took a vacation, and planned my next steps for the future. And some of those steps for the future were taking a good hard look at this show and seeing what I could do to make this show better, to attract a larger fan base, and to make them more enjoyable for everybody watching. And one of those ways I decided was to make my jokes a little bit more outside of the realm of PG-13. And I know in the world that we live in now in cancel culture, everyone might not agree with that. But this is what I've decided, and I feel like the good majority of people out there will agree with me and will like these new jokes and like my new way of storytelling. However, make no mistake, I'm not going anywhere. This show isn't going anywhere, and my humor's not going anywhere. And I have a lot to catch you up on, so I'm going to start right now. Here is the news. A Cape Cod lobster diver had the scare of his life after diving for lobsters and then getting swallowed by a humpback whale, and then being subsequently getting spit out by the whale. The diver shockingly had minor injuries, and the harrowing ordeal has been heard around the world. The mate of the humpback whale said that for her to spit the diver back out was uncommon, and that she, quote-unquote, usually doesn't do that. 2019 World Series MVP Ben Zobrist claims in a lawsuit against his wife that she had an affair with their former pastor. Zobrist filed for legal separation in 2019, and the new lawsuit is revealing more about what happened. In my opinion, it gives a whole new meaning to what happens in the confessional, stays in the confessional. It also raises the question about who was the father and who was the daddy. Prince Harry and Meghan Markle's son Archie could choose to become a prince or not at the age of 18 if he chooses to do so, an author claims. But let's be honest, who the fuck cares? He would be 14th in line for the throne. 14th. The odds of him becoming king in his lifetime is like the odds of Biden's dog becoming president. Granted, if he bites another intern, he's off my 2024 ballot for sure. Subway's tuna sandwiches were found to have no recognizable tuna fish DNA, a lab study has concluded. This obviously raised the big question of what Subway's tuna really is. I think Wuhan bat is a good guess. Vice President Kamala Harris is going to make her first trip to the border 90 days after she was tapped for the role. I mean, if I decided not to show up to work for 90 days, you know what happened? I'd be fired. If I refused to take out the trash in my house for 90 days, my dad would beat my ass. It's really a shame that we cannot give out presidential ass whoopings to some of these politicians who have been career politicians in Washington, because I can guarantee you, some of them deserve some. A Massachusetts bar has announced that they will accept Monopoly money as payment for 2 hours as part of a promotional idea to create a localized version of the Monopoly game. Joe Biden has also announced that he will give Monopoly money to people who claim to be employed. In an effort to raise awareness regarding the Delta variant of COVID-19, Delta Airlines has launched the Not This Shit Again campaign. Delta will begin reminding all passengers that Corona will not be sold on domestic flights. Victoria's Secret will be abandoning the Angels moniker in a dramatic rebrand to be more inclusive. The representatives will now be known as demons and will be dressed in all black and burn lingerie in a pile while praising the Antichrist. A female California corrections officer has recently been sentenced after being found performing sexual acts with a prisoner in front of other inmates. When asked for comment, the prisoner said, "To be honest, it was better than the free cable." UK neighbors have decided to cut a tree in half over a dispute over bird poop. One neighbor decided to take matters into his own hands when his side of the tree was over his driveway and his car would get defecated on. The other neighbor said that they were absolutely distraught that their neighbor would do something like this. Really, the only one who was really distraught was that fucking pigeon in the tree. A Florida man stole candles from a Bath and Body Works store. Okay, I'm going to stop. If the headline starts with a Florida man, you know it's going to be some crazy shit. A Florida man stole candles from a Bath and Body Works store and made his escape while spraying patrons with bear mace repellent. According to him, he got the bear essentials. Clearly, if he needs this many candles, he smells like bear shit. An early morning semi-truck crash on the expressway in New York left the highway covered in peppers. You could say that the crash peppered rush hour traffic, and if you didn't get that joke, it clearly didn't ring a bell. Pepper. In case you didn't hear, Hunter Biden is now selling art and apparently making a decent living doing so. I mean, if I sneeze cocaine onto a canvas and sell it as art to other New York City aristocrats, I probably would. Alaska's Katmai National Park has named a winner of Fat Bear Week 2021. A bear dubbed 480 Otis has claimed his 4th title for Fat Bear Week. He has celebrated his title in pure American fashion by waiting for his next unemployment check. In one of the hottest stories of recent times, Jon Gruden has resigned as coach of the Las Vegas Raiders after a series of email leaks regarding the Washington football team in 2011. I would call them the name they had for decades, but the internet would probably cancel me if I said the original name. These links were not conducted by the NFL, but rather an unknown source. In these emails, Gruden was reportedly talking to representatives of the Washington football team, and he was quoted as saying that he was against female referees, that the league was putting pressure on the Rams organization to draft the first openly gay player in the NFL in 2014, as well as using a racial epithet to describe the head of the NFLPA, as well as calling out Commissioner Roger Goodell as a football-hating clown. But in a not-so-nice way. No doubt about it that these comments are inexcusable, and resigning/firing Gruden was the only option in this case. However, this was a decade ago. And if we went through private emails of notorious head figures in society a decade ago, they would all be unemployable now. Granted, there are players in the NFL who have beat their wives and children and have killed people and are still playing. Don't get me wrong. Jon Gruden should be gone because those comments are inexcusable. But also the players who committed actual fucking crimes. So I guess there is some truth to what Gruden called Goodell after all. And finally, in ridiculous, stupid shit that really shouldn't surprise me anymore, in a documentary called Unidentified, host Demi Lovato claims that we should refer to aliens strictly as extraterrestrials because the term alien is offensive. She also goes on to say that we should not call unicorns unicorns because it is a horse with a birth defect and that they do not want to be called that. Alright. We have no conclusive evidence that aliens or unicorns even fucking exist. But it's still offensive? It's still offensive. We are going to end up rewriting the entire English language because everything is going to be offensive. We are not going to be able to live our lives in the slightest bit normal because in 20 years we will be arrested for misidentifying trees or birds or some shit. Because God forbid, that's not a blue jay. Maybe it identifies as a blue cardinal. And with all the current events going on in the world and some of the notable issues that I've missed over the past month, such as the events in Afghanistan, the U.S. potentially running out of money, Dog the Bounty Hunter tracking Brian Laundrie, concerned parents being labeled as domestic terrorists, Tom Brady's return to Foxborough, and the unending debate of COVID vaccines. But through all of that, I will be here making jokes about the littlest things and the biggest stories. And don't get me wrong, I will not be going anywhere because you folks deserve to keep up with the news and you deserve to keep up with the hottest things going on in our times. And that's why I'm here. So, that does it for this episode of the news. I appreciate all you folks turning in because this has been the news.